Hello friends, and welcome back to the shop. Today is Sunday, July 31st, and it's a rainy day here in eastern PA. It rained a lot yesterday. This morning it's actually not raining, it's just everything's wet and it's hot again, so that's making for rather high humidity. Seems I'm always complaining about the weather. I'm really not. I like weather. I like snow, I like rain, I like sun. I like change in weather as well. So whenever we get, 2 or 3 weeks of the same thing over and over again, it gets kind of boring. But hey, I'm just happy to be able to experience the day, and whatever the day brings is fine by me. So, but it is wet today, and wet days are always a challenge when you have two dogs that like to go out and play in mud. So we had some fun this morning, but all's going well. So I had a few things I wanted to talk about today. First and I suppose foremost is I wanted to give you an update on the 7LE315KS twin bore and tell you my impressions of the twin bore. And to do that, I'm going to smoke this pipe this morning, but I'm going to smoke it in. I'm going to smoke a tobacco in it, of course, and that tobacco is the Vincent Manille Semois tobacco. Now, I know several folks have done reviews of this. I think Grandpa Cavendish did a nice review. I think I'm a Ranch also did a nice review of this. I'm not going to review this tobacco. If you haven't tried it, you should. It's a very unique, nice, simple tobacco, but it's got some really great qualities. What I did want to do, though, is just show you how this arrives, because I don't think anyone has actually shown the original packaging. It's shipped in this foil-wrapped brick. It's kind of reminiscent of the coffee that used to come in the vacuum-packed brick, and then you'd break it open and the brick would collapse. Except this brick doesn't collapse when you break it open, and you get quite a bit of tobacco here. This is. I think this is like $35, which seems like a lot if you were buying a tin of tobacco. It's 3.5 ounces, as you can see on the side here, but it's very tightly packed and it's very dry, so you actually have quite a bit. And it's been a while since I've opened one of these bricks. I use these mason jars for all my tobacco storage. That's not going to mean anything. It's 250 milliliters. Anyway, these typically hold about 2 ounces of tobacco. Of course, it depends on the type of tobacco, but a shag cut or a ribbon cut, about 2 ounces will fit in here. And I believe that this brick winds up filling somewhere between 3 and 4 of these. I can't remember if I got 2 full and then no, it was at least 3. So anyway, what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be opening up this brick, putting it into the jars. I'll do that after the video because you're probably not terribly interested in watching me transfer tobacco. But I thought you might want to see the brick and how it's packaged. And so it has this sort of paper band that's going around the foil brick, and I will cut that off. And I do really like the packaging on this. I mean, it's just beautiful, reminiscent of earlier days. And if you haven't seen the video on Semois, there's a YouTube video. I will try to find it and link it. It's all in, I think, in French, because they're in Belgium. It's either French or Dutch, but I think it's French. I believe Vincent Manille is the person in the video. I don't know because I don't speak the language. But it follows him, and I think his wife also helps him out a bit. But it's basically a one-man operation from harvesting all the way through packaging and shipping this tobacco. And they have a whole portion of the video showing how he packs it in these gold bricks, and it's kind of neat to watch. And I just love this sort of old-style packaging. So you're then left with a foil-wrapped gold brick, and it's a relatively thick foil and somewhat ingeniously wrapped. You can see this end is sort of pressed in just to hold everything together, and we're beginning to reveal tobacco there. So I will open it from this end. spill it everywhere. And there we go. A nice brick of tobacco. It's not, oh, it is actually. It's very dense. I was going to say it's not hard to break it open, but it did provide some resistance there. And you can see what you have is this very, very dry shag cut. Now, they are now selling I think if I've got this right, a ribbon cut form of this. I didn't try it. This is what I've had in the past, and I like it, so I didn't want to experiment. But if anyone has tried the ribbon cut, the newer ribbon cut, I'd really like to hear about that. So I'm not going to jar any of this up right now. I'm just going to pack the pipe right off the top of this brick. The interesting thing about this tobacco is how dry it is and how you can smoke it this dry. And it actually is supposed to be smoked this dry. I've never tried to rehydrate it, so I don't know if that would be a good thing or a bad thing, but I like it like this. And the trick to it, to get it to burn well, is to really pack it tightly. So if you haven't tried it yet and you get your hands on some, pack it tightly. This is not going to clog or occlude the draw the way most tobaccos will, because it is so dry and sort of springy that you can really jam it down there and still have a wide open draw. And now we will light. It's really unique. I don't want to review the tobacco today, but it's something you got to try at least once. And it's easy to find now. I mean, just 2 or 3 years ago, it was very difficult to get in the U.S. But now it's sold. I think I got this through Pipes and Cigars. There's the pipe guys actually are the people. I'm sorry, I'm looking over here. I'm reading off the label. The pipe guys are the folks that are importing it from Belgium, and then they're redistributing it here. And the story is that this tobacco grows in the Ardennes Valley in Belgium, which has just unique soil and climate conditions for growing tobacco. And it is a burley, and I believe it's actually, well, I'll just say it's a burley, but it's not like any burley you've run into if you haven't tried it. Okay. So I've now wasted 8 minutes talking about a tobacco that I said I was not going to review. The pipe. This is the Savinelli 315 KS that I restored a week or so, or 2 weeks back. You saw that finish up. And this is the pipe that has that neat twin bore. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. Anyway, there's 2 holes here. And it's supposed to give a cooler smoke and better mixing of the. I'm not a fan, to be honest. I've smoked about this is probably my 5th bowl in this pipe now, and the pipe smokes wonderfully. And when you first light it up, I'm not going to say that the stem is producing anything magically different than a regular stem would, but it's not bad. It's just another stem. You don't really notice a difference. The 2 narrow draft holes combine to make something close to the size of a normal draft hole. Although the air will move more quickly through the narrow holes, which is just physics. And that, I think, is actually producing a somewhat hotter smoke, at least for me. Now, I could probably slow down a bit, but I tried this all the way down to just a ridiculously low level sipping, and it just never really clicked for me. The thing that I do not like about it, and you know, all of that's just saying it's not my thing, but one thing that I do think is a design flaw is that every time I smoked this, and I think it's inevitable, one of the draft holes, which by the way they start at the the very button, and they go to about here in the stem, and then it's a single draft hole that proceeds down. So it's just this portion, and they're relatively narrow. And every time I've smoked this, one of them has become somewhat occluded. And the reason being is that moisture is inevitably going to collect in a narrow passageway, and it just takes a single drop there to increase the resistance of that path, and then all the pressure is going to go to the other path. So at some point during every smoke, I wound up having just one chamber that was working, or I would have to get down in there with a pipe cleaner and clean out the other one. And that led to an even hotter smoke, because then you just had one narrow draft hole that was pulling the smoke through, and that got quite hot. So I think that I will eventually make a new stem for this, just a standard stem. It's not horrible. It's just not something that I'm excited about or want to deal with. If you get a chance to try one, you probably should. I wouldn't avoid them. It's a good quality stem, and the pipe smokes wonderfully when it's smoking well. There's one other point about this that I'll mention, that I intended to mention during the last video, and I forgot about it. One of the reasons people like these stems is that you've got a lot more vulcanite here in the end than you would on a standard stem. And that means it's much harder to bite through the top or the bottom of the stem. So if you're a clencher, if you're someone that tends to chew on the ends of their pipes, these bits actually will be a bit more robust for you and will last longer. But for me, it wouldn't be worth the trade-off. But having said that, I'm glad I've got the pipe. It's a very nice pipe. I love the shape. I love the tobacco chamber. It's basically a pot with a little bit of flair, and yeah, I like the pipe a lot. So I'm glad that I got it and did the restoration. And when time allows, I will make a new stem for it. Okay, so a couple other things I wanted to update you on, and now we're moving on to shop updates here. And the first is I want to talk a bit about the Stubby Gentleman. As I told you several videos back, I've got a series of things that I have to finish before I can start working on the Stubby Gentleman. The first of those was a cob modification I was doing for a friend. Now that cob modification, I did complete it and mailed it out last week. It was actually a variation on the Stubby Gentleman. And I did this for a guy on YouTube who's named Bama Guitar Dude, or Mark, as I know. Mark's a really good guy. He got in touch with me soon after I posted that first Stubby Gentleman video, the final video in the cob modification Stubby Gentleman series. So this was before I entered it in the contest, just when it was finished. And he contacted me like the next day and said, if I send you a Country Gentleman, will you modify it for me? But he wanted some differences. He didn't want the black stain. He wanted a lighter color shank, and he called it the Stubby Country because he wanted it to be more of a corncob pipe than what I had turned the Stubby Gentleman into. So at the time, I wasn't thinking of making a lot of Stubby Gentlemen. I just was thinking that was a one-off, and I thought, well, sure, I'll do that for you. So he sent me the thing. And I started it, and then I ran into the problems that you all know about, where I wasn't able to work in the shop for a while. Mark was very, very kind and accepting of the delays, and I finally got it to him, and he made a wonderful video, actually a video where he was far too kind to me, showing off his Stubby Country. And some people saw that and got in touch, and I think might have been a little bit concerned, because I have promised a group of you, and I have a list of names, that when I begin selling the Stubby Gentleman, I will get in touch with you before I go public with that. And I just want to assure you all that this was not a Stubby Gentleman, and it was not a sale. It was just something that I did as a favor before I ever thought I was going to be making those 10 Stubby Gentlemen. So I hope there wasn't any confusion in that. I do still plan to get to those as soon as I get the other things off my list, and I will be in touch with the folks that are interested. And if you're still interested, they'll be available for you. But you just have to be patient, because it's going to take some time to get there. So that was a one-off, and I just wanted to explain that. Mark, by the way, Bama Guitar Dude, if you don't know him, he's a really wonderful pipe presenter, and I'd highly recommend you check out his video. I'll link down below. I won't link to that video because that's kind of self-serving, but I'll link to his channel, and you can take a look at that. And he's just a really cool, interesting guy. I think you'll enjoy what he has to say. And the other thing that I want to talk about is just very quickly, is the cob modification I'm doing for Ben Mitchell. I posted the first video there last week. That is going slowly because work has been preventing me from doing any work in the evenings, which is when I normally do the shop stuff. This past weekend has been fairly busy. I may have some time today. It's still early in the day. So I'm hoping to get a video up on Wednesday, but time will tell whether I can achieve that or not. I don't want to put a video up just for the sake of doing it, because if I only get a few things done, it's kind of silly to, post the whole thing, and if you're just getting a minor update. All right, so that's all the formal stuff out of the way. This Semois is very good. I'm enjoying this immensely, and I will say that this is a dry tobacco. As I said, it smokes very dry, and so far both draft holes are still functioning. So maybe this will become my Semois pipe. I don't usually do the pipe dedication thing. I don't think I have any pipe that is just for one tobacco. I have a pipe that I really enjoy smoking 3 Nuns in, but I smoke other things in that pipe. And for me, if you keep your pipes clean and maintained, I don't think there's a big benefit to having, oh, these are a lot of Kia blend pipes. Oh, maybe a lot of Kia. It's kind of strong, but certainly like separating Virginias and Burleys, there's no reason to do that. But there are pipes that just for some reason smoke Burleys better, and there are some pipes that smoke Virginias better, and I can't figure it out. It's not, people say that if you get a tall narrow chamber it's good for certain things. It doesn't seem to be that way for me. I have short little pots that smoke Burleys fantastic, and then I have some that don't, and it just sort of runs the gamut. So I don't know what it is, but I do tend to dedicate pipes to types of tobacco, also cuts of tobacco. So ribbon cuts as opposed to flakes or crumble cakes. That sometimes makes a big difference. But I don't claim to understand it at all. It just sort of happens. The pipes choose the tobacco that they like, and that's how I use them. I'm curious how many of you keep a rotation of pipe. I mean, I know we all rotate our pipes, but do you have a Monday pipe and a Tuesday pipe and things like that, or do you have several that you choose from and then just try to rest them a few days? So if you're going to smoke a particular blend, one of these 3 pipes is going to be it, so you'll choose one of those and then be careful not to choose it again for at least a couple days. Or how do you go about that? I actually have as you could imagine, because I'm a little bit compulsive about things, I have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday rotation that I don't always stick to, because I also have many other pipes to choose from. So if I'm in the mood on Monday for the pipe I normally smoke on Monday, that's what I'll take. But if I'm in the mood for one of the other non-daily pipes, I'll take one of those. But I don't or at least I very rarely would smoke my Monday pipe on a Tuesday or something like that. And I don't know why. It just sort of evolved that way. There's no logic to it. It's what I do. Anyway, I have babbled for enough now. It's really good to talk to you. I hope you're enjoying your weekend, and you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and have a great week ahead, because summer is rapidly winding down. Well, it's not winding down yet, but it's about to be winding down. They're already starting the back to school stuff and all that. So, enjoy what time we have. Don't be like me and complain about the weather. Get out there and enjoy whatever the planet is handing to you right now. And just take care of yourself and those close to you. And I will look forward to talking to you again very soon. So goodbye now.